In a world of high-paced everything, mobility, data, speed, you name it, we're high-paced. It's nice to just put your foot on the brake a little bit and relax and unwind. We catch up with somebody who has her foot on the brake Monday to Friday. She knows how to unwind on the weekend, but she really has accelerated the way we entertain on TV, the way we interact with one on social media. She's an entrepreneur, she's a wife, she's a superstar. Tracey Lange is here in a car that does all of that and more, the all-new Lexus Hybrid. This car is incredible. We're going to catch up with Tracey, find out about what makes her tick, what's her driving force, and of course, speaking of driving forces, hey!
How's it?
There she is! So let's hop in with a superstar and catch up with Tracey Lange and find out not only what it's like to be spend a day in the life of her, but also how she's got to being where she is now, a superstar. Let's hop in and go. Yee-hoo! Buckle up! Tracey, it is so amazing to spend time with you.
I'm so glad we finally get to do this. We haven't done this in a while.
I know. And it is so nice to connect with you because I know that you're very busy and you know, you're doing what you love, and it shows, because when you do something that you love, it's not really work. It's, you know, it's something that you love, and it just so happens to be 100%.
Yeah.
But you do it so well. And I was reading in your, interesting enough, in your new, the new Woman and Home that you're on the cover of, a beautiful cover, Al Natural, and I read the interview, and it's an amazing life that you've had, an incredible a journey that seems to have gone just like this to where you are at the moment.
It has. 15 years.
Can you believe it? And I remember 15 years ago when a new person was coming to a radio station we're both working at to come do news and be a part of a setup there that later would become an institution with you in it at the helm.
Yes.
But when you, was that your first radio gig with me?
Yes, it was.
No
With us
ways.
together. How amazing is that?
But that was just the other day.
And that's, I think, why sometimes it just kind of it boggles the mind still, and why I'm so incredibly grateful for it, because it just feels like it just happened.
Yeah.
It's just started still at times.
Did you know that that's what you wanted to do? Did you know that radio is where you wanted to be, or that medium is where you wanted to, you know?
Oh, definitely not. It was definitely not something I'd ever considered.
Yeah.
I must admit, the only thing, and the only time I'd ever come close enough to considering something like that was when I said I'd actually like to be the voice in an animated series or a movie. Like, you know, in The Lion King, be one of those voices. And that's still kind of a dream of mine. I think it would be pretty awesome to do something like that. That was the closest I'd ever come. I actually thought I would go for, you know, the normal safe jobs that you were taught to get. The job that gives you the pension and the medical aid and all of that kind of thing. To then decide to go freelance was quite a thing and very daunting. And then realizing that actually you have to create that security for yourself.
Absolutely. It doesn't come overnight. Nope. It doesn't happen. Nobody else is going to do it for you as well. I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize that being in the media industry and being in the spaces that we are, you kind of nothing about the future is certain.
Never. And also to realize that as much as we think it's just a media thing, the last 2 years have proven to us that it's not just a media thing.
Absolutely.
And even before that, that it's not just in our industry where that's the case. It happens absolutely everywhere.
Yes.
You can never be sure.
Absolutely. So the transition across, obviously in that live environment, it's something that you've done very, very well. But also at the same time, being true, and here's the tough thing, if you're watching this, here's the hardest thing, that it doesn't matter how professional you are doing your job, to put it and inject a little bit of your own personality into whatever it is you're doing. It's a very hard thing. Broadcasters can be the most professional broadcasters on earth, but it can be a cut-paste version of what you expect from them to be. To inject your own self into anything that you're doing is a lot. It's a lot of actually of work, because you've got to let yourself go and be able to be so relaxed in that place that you can sense that you're in it, in that product. And you do that so well. It's so infectious, in actual fact, that when you're in it, because you know whatever it is you're doing, whether it's in front of a camera, in front of a microphone, or on the cover of a magazine, in actual fact, I can hear your voice, I can feel your personality on the front of the Woman at Home. That is how much of you put into your work.
That's a huge compliment. Thank you.
And you do it so well.
Thank you.
And you can't help but just love it and relate to it. But it's a hard thing to do, but you do it so naturally.
I think it is to that point of having to be fully in that moment, because it is so easy to get caught up if you see what everyone else does. And you
Yes.
know there was a TV show years ago where everyone started speaking a certain way.
Yes,
Good evening,
that's
and,
good evening and welcome.
Oh, you know that's okay. We're not going to say what,
No,
but we just
we
there
all
were many
know.
shows.
Yes. We are here with a lovely apartment, and as
Where
you can
the
see,
architecture, where the outside
speaks
reflects
of-
the inside, and the inside takes the outside out. You know, it's that.
I know.
And I think it's so easy to look at that and go,
Yes.
but that's clearly what people want, so that
Sure.
must be what works.
Yes.
But why do we all constantly want to be alike?
Yes. When we're so different.
When we are so different, and isn't that what makes you stand out?
Yes.
And I think to me, it wasn't necessarily just looking at it that way. It was
Right.
actually going, I have no idea how to be anything but me.
Yes.
There's so much to focus on when you are doing your job. And
Yes.
to me, wanting to do it so right.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit pedantic in making sure I
Everything-
get all the
yeah.
there are certain things that need to be done right.
Yes.
And if I have to focus on those things being done right, then I constantly have to focus on putting on a different character.
Yes.
Because then there's just too much to pay attention to. So to me, it's fully just going, it's not about me.
Yes.
In essence, it's about my listener, or it's
Yeah.
about my viewer,
Yes.
or more often than not, actually just my guest. Making sure my guest is feeling so comfortable
Yeah.
that they forget about the listeners and the viewers, and they just go, let me speak.
Yes.
And when they realize you are comfortable and that you are just being you, that's when they open up.
Yes.
And I think that has helped me a lot in terms of just constantly going, let me just be me. And I think that's one of the greatest compliments that I can always get afterwards when they go,
That felt-
thank you for making me feel so comfortable.
Yeah. And I think that you'll agree with me here, because you are the kind of person that I know that's on a similar wavelength when it comes to this. A lot of people ask me, who's the most like the best VIP guest that you've ever had? And when you interview people, you always got stars. And I always tell them, it's never the big stars. It's the person that is an average person that lives in a normal house, in a normal home, in a normal street, that I love speaking to the most. It's the everyday person that you can connect with that makes me doing what I do so special. That's the gold in what it is we do. And I hear that when you talk to people, when you engage with whoever, it's not the big stars we get to meet and we get to the privilege of interviewing or spending time with. It's the everyday person that crosses and listens and watches what we do that make our life so much special when we engage with them.
It is definitely that. And the fact that they come with those incredible stories that often you don't know.
Yes.
That no one gives a platform to, and then going,
Yeah.
I can actually use this platform that I've got to
To do
share
good.
those
Yeah.
stories
Yes.
and inspire more people. And I mean, they walk away, you walk away from those interviews and you
Yeah.
go, every time, this is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
All the other interviews are great, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But it can also become quite run-of-the-mill. I think it's what makes not only our city but our
Yeah.
country so fantastic, because we really have those incredible people, the underdogs.
Yes. 2022, finally we're getting to breathe again a little slowly. We've both recently had COVID. We've both been there, done that. We've had 2 years as well that have kind of been upside down. What realistically this year, do you have any goals you'd like to achieve this year? And I want to also touch on, because this is really inspirational, is I love the fact that you are pushing towards us breaking free from having to Photoshop every blimmin' picture that we put on our Instagram or on any kind of social media platform, because we want to look like the best possible selves. But our best possible selves are with warts and all, are with pimples, and that is the best possible version that we should be showing the world. I want to talk about that. But first, plans for the rest of this year?
Plans for the rest of this year, I've got a few new TV shows that I'm busy producing, that I'm working on at the moment, so I won't be in front of the camera. Yes, new movie. Our latest movie is actually out at the moment as well. Klein Karwetwe, that is out at the moment and has done so incredibly well in box office because we couldn't take it to theatres.
Sure.
So we've done exceptionally well over the festive season. Very happy about that. So I've got a few new movies and Netflix series that we are very excited about. That's going to be really, really big. And then hopefully, if all goes well, I can travel again at some point.
Yes. Yeah.
Just one trip. I'd be happy with just one trip.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah. We've got to talk about the car before we even.
Oh yes,
in this.
absolutely.
What do you think of this Lexus, by the way?
I am crazy about it. It's also just one of those cars, What's the best thing about this car? You get out and then you realize, oh, the car's still on. I love it. The space, everything about it. But yet it's a very big car in my mind.
Yes.
But it doesn't feel like
feel
that
when you're on the road.
You're driving it and you're like, It's so easy.
It is.
It's pretty easy on the
actually,
road.
this car's a nice synergy with you and your personality. It's really, it does everything you need it to do. It believes in saving the environment.
Yes.
It's got a really so much respect on the road, and at the same time, it can be really fast when it needs to be. It thinks on its feet really well, and it's the most protective space to be in any car in the world. This is one of the safest cars on the road, and like I said, this is really a nice fit for you and this car. Tracey, this has been amazing. Thanks for spending some time with us. And if you haven't got your latest Woman in Home, go and pick it up. She's not only on the cover, but there's an incredible article inside. And if you've been following Tracey's career, she's just got so much. She's only on the tip of the iceberg. There's so much to come from this powerhouse of a human being. Inspiration to all, and somebody I'm proud to say I know. Tracey Lange, thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.